So one of the big topic areas that families talked about experience a lot and where parents wanted some help was on how they can navigate negative emotions. As we've talked about before, parenting has wonderful, joyous, important moments where your kids just make you feel like the most wonderful you could ever possibly feel as a human. But it also comes with the challenges, with the stresses, and with the negative emotions. And I think modern parenting comes with a set of negative emotions that feel particularly nasty and ones that make us feel even worse. And so these are things, for example, like guilt, also, for example, shame. These were some of the most populous words we got in our survey. So here's just one response from parents. I feel guilty for not being the perfect parent to my kid. Here's another one. I feel guilty when I take any time for myself. The phrase I feel guilty when could be filled in by pretty much anything. I feel ashamed whenever I feel like I'm not parenting right. Parents are just feeling this guilt, this guilt, this guilt. And this was also something that the Surgeon General saw in his big report. It's in my conversations with parents and caregivers across America, I have found guilt and shame have become pervasive, often leading people to hide their struggles, which perpetuates this vicious cycle of stress, because you don't want to admit that you're feeling guilty because you're ashamed about it, so you don't tell anybody. And then that leads to more stress and more stress and more stress. So we got to deal with the guilt and shame. Those are like negative emotions, number one. But there are other negative emotions. In parenting surveys, parents are reporting being lonelier than ever. In fact, they're just as lonely as our lonely young people, which is a problem. We need to kind of fix this. But beyond that, I've seen a lot of parents experiencing anxiety about what's going on. Again, just some survey answers. There's this constant fear that I'm not doing enough. I fear for their safety, whether I'll pass my negative behaviors down to them, that I'm not spending enough time with them. Like the list goes on and on. Whatever we can feel anxious about, we lock onto it, and then that increases our guilt because we're scared that we're doing something bad and it makes us feel more anxious. But I feel a particularly pervasive emotion that we need to talk about in parents is anger. And interestingly, because this interacts with gender dynamics, especially anger in moms. This was something that we saw a lot, especially in the women who responded to our survey. I'm tired of trying to convince my 4 kids to go to bed for the past 9 years. I get really frustrated thinking about it. These normal things that kids are supposed to do, we experience with like anger, and I want to like, here's just a few more. I have difficulty containing my anger when the kids won't do what I ask, especially when I just need to get to work. There are these moments through the day where we saw the anger coming up, whether it's like dinner, going to bed, drop off, like it just, the frustration is palpable. I get frustrated in the morning when my 5-year-old takes her time getting ready for school. How do I stay calm when I feel the anger? It's beautiful that she's in the moment, but we ain't got time for that, right? Be present, we don't need to get to drop off, right? This is something that sociologists and other journalists have been talking about a lot, again, especially vis-a-vis kind of anger in moms. A really great kind of deep dive into this was done by Mina Dubin, who has this book called Mom Rage, where I think she notes something that's kind of really important to talk about. So the fact that it's sort of shameful. So not only are you experiencing this negative emotion of anger, you're feeling ashamed about it. So she notes mother rage is not appropriate. Mothers are supposed to be martyr-like in our patience. We're not supposed to want to hit our kids or tear out our hair. We hide these urges because we're afraid we're going to be labeled bad moms. So fearing judgment, we say nothing. This rage festers. We're left under a pile of loneliness and debilitating shame. So you feel the anger, you feel guilt about the anger, you feel ashamed, and that increases this crisis of other negative emotions, right? Not great. Of course, this is bad for parents, but what we know is that this is also bad for kids. We've talked a little bit before about the phenomena of emotional contagion. In other words, your kids are catching your emotions. We catch the emotions of the people around us. And that means that if we're not good at regulating our own emotions, we might have kids who are feeling a lot of those emotions too, creating this vicious cycle that we all really want to get out of. The problem is that the way we try to get out of that vicious cycle is to squish our negative emotions down, down, down and pretend we're not seeing them. We all, I think, have the sense that emotional contagion can happen. So when we're feeling anxious, when we're feeling pissed, we try to pretend that emotion is not there and suppress the emotion as much as possible. But researchers like James Gross at Stanford and his colleagues have studied the consequences of this. They brought subjects into the lab, had them watch a sad movie, and told those subjects, whatever you do, pretend you're not feeling sad. Just like put on a happy face and suppress that emotion as much as possible. People could try to do that, but there were consequences. One of the consequences is people's kind of thinking performance. You give people a memory test after this, a decision-making task, they do worse. We're not performing or thinking as well because part of our frontal lobe is like holding down all those terrible emotions, and we just don't have that frontal lobe power to basically do anything else. But James finds that we're also hurting our body. In fact, even in this short laboratory task, he finds evidence of cardiac stress in the body, that we're like stressing out our bodies by holding down these emotions. Imagine where you're all gonna be when your kids finish the college application process, right? Like there was a little laboratory task, we're hurting our stress, right? So bad, bad, bad to be suppressing our emotions. which raises the question, how do we deal with our negative emotions? Well, luckily, we have our ways of changing how we think, act, and feel.